Most men are allergic to silence. They simply don't know when to shut up. In fact, they can hardly keep their mouths closed. You would think they would suffer from vocal fatigue, but it's usually the listener who ends up with the headache from sensory overload. Talkative men aren't taken seriously by high net worth individuals. And the reason for that is simple. They're a risk. If you cannot control your tongue, you cannot be trusted, and rightfully so. In ordinary circles, the loudest man often gets the attention. But the rules change entirely when moving toward elite professional or high net worth individuals. There is a quiet power in the man who knows when not to speak. He understands that words carry weight and that using them carelessly can cause real damage. In this video, we will go over 7 critical moments in life where your silence becomes your greatest weapon. Number 1. Be silent in the heat of anger. One of the great Stoic philosophers, Zeno of Citium, warned about one of the most dangerous forms of temporary madness, anger. And he was right. Anger hijacks the rational mind. It turns the tongue into a weapon, one that usually ends up wounding the speaker more than the target. Because when anger takes control, you never know how reckless your mouth can get. Zeno once said, "It is better to trip with the feet than with the tongue." A physical fall may leave a bruise that heals, but a slip of the tongue can destroy a reputation, damage relationships, end a marriage, or burn a career bridge in seconds. Once a word is launched in fury, it cannot be unsaid. It becomes a permanent part of someone else's memory. Think about it. How many times have you said something you later regretted because you felt pressured to respond? Modern psychology explains why this occurs. During intense anger, the brain enters what scientists call a refractory period, a state where logical thinking temporarily shuts down. Your brain's emotional alarm system, the amygdala, fires first. It triggers a fight or flight response designed for survival. But the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logic, judgment, and impulse control, takes longer to engage. In simple terms, your emotional brain grabs the steering wheel before your thinking brain even gets in the car. That is why silence becomes powerful. When you stay silent, you are simply waiting for your logic center to plug back in, allowing it to reconnect before emotion causes irreversible damage. Ancient philosophers like Pythagoras and Marcus Aurelius also warned about speaking before thinking, often emphasizing silence as the safest form of self-control. By refusing to speak until the mind catches up, you reclaim control from your impulse and prevent the trip of the tongue. A man who can remain silent in the midst of chaos is a man who cannot be broken. Because if the world cannot provoke a reaction from you, the world cannot control you. Number 2. Be silent while planning your next move. Work hard in silence. Let your success be your noise. This isn't just a clever phrase, it's a strategy for life. When you brag about your plans, you invite jealousy, doubt, and even sabotage. But when you keep your head down and grind, people can't argue with results. Success is the only microphone you'll ever need. Most people mistake the announcement of a goal for the achievement of it. This is a psychological trap. When you tell others your plans, you receive social points for things you haven't done yet. This fools your brain into thinking the job is done, killing the hunger you need to actually do the work, because you've already enjoyed the social satisfaction of being seen as someone with a vision. But when you stay quiet, you keep that internal pressure high. You force yourself to actually execute to earn the reward. Every great idea dies the same way. If an idea survives the mind, it often dies when it is first shared, buried alive in the mind because you, the creator, killed it through careless talk. People often view your goals through the lens of their own limitations. If they couldn't do it, they'll tell you why you can't. There is an old saying, "He who guards his lips guards his life, but he who speaks rashly will come to ruin." The greatest men in history all obeyed the silent law. Silence isn't just for the great and mighty. It's a principle anyone can live by. Move in silence. Execute in silence. Let them assume you're stagnant until your results show up uninvited. Number 3, be silent when wisdom is speaking. The Stoics were students first, warriors second. When you're in the presence of knowledge, shut your mouth and open your ears. The only state in which growth is possible is the state of a student. In Stoicism, the warrior is the man who applies the philosophy to life. But that warrior is useless without the student who first gathered the maps. As the Stoic teacher Zeno famously said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Speaking is an act of output. You are repeating what you already know. You cannot learn a new concept while your own voice is occupying your ears. Only through silence can the beginner's mind truly listen. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. This is the illusion of knowledge. Thinking you understand something perfectly creates a closed door in the mind, making you immune to new discoveries that challenge current beliefs. You stop asking questions and stop observing the world with the beginner's mind necessary for you to evolve. You keep applying old solutions to new problems because you trust an outdated plan while the world around you continues to change. The perfect knowledge of yesterday is the obsolescence of tomorrow. A man committed to growth lives by the student's vow. If you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. If you aren't, your only job is to be quiet and keep a beginner's mind. Number 4, be silent in rooms that don't deserve your voice. Learn not to speak or share your thoughts in situations where your intellect is only met with garbage. This could be in a boardroom, a toxic social circle, or even an online comment section. You understand the subject, they don't. The fact that you have mastery over a topic will make you want to over-explain yourself. You think that if you provide just one more fact or one more perfect analogy, the other person will finally get it. But you cannot reason a man out of a position he never reasoned himself into. There will always be a pick followed by a drop, an endless, exhausting back and forth, because a fool always has something foolish to say. He's unreachable through logic. Silence, therefore, becomes discernment. The ability to judge when engaging will provide value versus when it will only harvest your energy. Every time you speak, you are investing energy. In rooms filled with willful ignorance, the return on that investment is 0. Arguing with someone who is committed to misunderstanding you is like trying to explain color to someone who refuses to open their eyes. A wise man doesn't get into senseless debates. He treats his thoughts as a privilege, not a public commodity. You see, whenever you stay silent while others are busy talking just to hear themselves, you are gathering information about them. You are learning their weaknesses, patterns, insecurities, and true intentions, all while they learn nothing about you. They don't know your price, your fears, or your next move. You remain a black box, impossible to calculate or manipulate. And when you finally do speak, your words land like a hammer. Because you've spent the last 10 minutes observing, your response isn't a guess. It's a surgical strike aimed directly at the heart of the issue. Number 5, remain silent when disrespected in public. When you're disrespected in public, the aggressor is usually trying to provoke a reaction to entertain the audience. Your instinct is to clap back to defend your honor, and that's okay. But that's just your ego trying to protect its territory. Your true power in this moment is to starve the spectacle. By refusing to give the audience the reaction they anticipate, you leave the aggressor looking like a fool shouting at a statue. It takes a very strong man to remain silent when he's disrespected, misunderstood, or unfairly blamed. You'll hear men say, "I can't let anyone disrespect me like that. If you cross me, you'll regret it." It sounds brave, but in reality, you are still feeding the audience. What most people fail to understand is that anger thrives on conflict. The moment your ego takes control, tension can escalate quickly. A simple verbal insult can escalate into a physical war, one that ends in a hospital or a jail cell. The Roman emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius offered a powerful reminder. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. And he was right. Revenge isn't found in hurting someone back. It is found in refusing to let their behavior corrupt your character. Now, this does not mean you become a doormat. In fact, you should never be afraid to put someone in their place, but do not confuse reaction with retaliation. When someone is loud and disrespectful, the crowd automatically looks for a victim. If you fight back, you give them exactly what they want. Instead, apply the power of the dead stare. Look them dead in the eyes. Keep your posture relaxed. Remain perfectly silent for 3 seconds. Then calmly return to your conversation or simply walk away. By doing this, you aren't taking it. You are showing the room that their words aren't heavy enough to move you. Silence in the moment doesn't mean the situation is over. It means you will handle it on your terms. High-value men don't argue in public. They handle disrespect behind closed doors, man to man, without embarrassing themselves in front of others. A true Stoic man avoids confrontation, but he doesn't fear it either. So the next time you're provoked, ask yourself, is this person a threat or just a nuisance? Will I be proud of these words tomorrow? If the answer is no, the only virtuous move is silence. Number 6. Be silent around the arrogantly loud. We all have a big ego, but when it comes to making rational decisions, your ego should not be part of it. Train yourself to be comfortable letting stupid people win arguments. Understand this: an argument with a fool can never be won with logic. They are actively immune to facts and emotionally invested in being right. By allowing them to finish their point, you provide them with a sense of triumph and yourself with peace. Truly confident men don't feel the need to win every conversation because their self-worth isn't tied to proving a point. Big dogs don't move a muscle when small dogs bark. Because the small dog knows it lacks physical size, it relies on noise and posturing as a survival strategy. It tries to create a sonic wall to keep the threat away. It isn't barking because it's brave. It's barking because it's terrified and trying to compensate for its vulnerability. In the same way, the man who talks the most is often the one trying the hardest to convince himself of his own worth. The small dog represents the arrogant talker, loud, aggressive, and constant because he feels intellectually or socially small. He uses noise to hide his insecurities and scare people into thinking he's more important than he really is. The big dog represents the high-value man who doesn't bark back because he doesn't feel threatened. He knows his own strength, so he doesn't need to prove it to a fool. For most men, arguing isn't about truth. It's about proving they know more than you do. They use volume to silence your voice just to maintain the illusion of being right. These individuals often defer to formal titles rather than the quality of an argument. If you were a teacher or a man with an official title, they wouldn't argue, even if you had zero knowledge on the topic. But because they see you as an equal, your facts become a threat to their ego. But you are not equals. An intellectual cannot be measured by the standards of a fool. But this is what happens when you get into a fight with a pig. You both get dirty, and the pig likes it. There is a quote that goes, "Never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience." The key is to disengage from pointless arguments, lest you end up looking like the fool. Think about it. If you see two people arguing across the street, can you tell who the sane one is? Exactly, you can't. Two people shouting from a distance look the same. It takes an extraordinary fool to make a wise man react, because the wise man has more important things to invest his time and energy into. Sometimes saying nothing says a lot. Whenever you find yourself in an argument with an arrogant fool, your best move is to shift the burden of embarrassment onto him. By staying quiet and observing him like a scientist looks at a lab rat, you regain the high ground. You are no longer looking at a friend or someone you just met. You are looking at a man with no brains, ruled by his emotions. And if a man is brainless, his words cannot hurt you. Your cold silence forces him to look awkward. You have denied him the fuel he needs to keep going. He wants a battle, but your silence has left him shadowboxing alone. Number 7. Be silent if your silence can save relationships. Human connection is infinitely more valuable than the ego's need to be right. Stoicism teaches us to prioritize the greater good, the idea of cosmopolis, or our shared human community. In a family or partnership, that greater good is the health of the bond itself. You can win an argument with a partner or a parent using pure facts and logic. But if you destroy their dignity or spirit in the process, you have done more harm than good. In close relationships, we know exactly where the other person's buttons are. We know the words that will cut the deepest. Choosing not to say the one thing that would win the fight is a supreme act of love. It is a shield you raise to protect the other person from your own worst impulses. Not every truth is helpful in every moment. A wise man asks, does this truth serve a purpose, or does it only serve my ego? Sometimes a thought is valid, but the timing is wrong. Silence isn't about suppressing the truth forever. It's about waiting until the other person is in a state where they can actually hear it without being wounded. The Roman emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius believed in accepting people as they are. Silence is often the physical expression of accepting a loved one's flaws without needing to fix or critique them in the heat of the moment. The urge to speak during a disagreement is almost always the ego trying to defend its territory. By letting the ego sit down, you allow peace to occupy the room. You are choosing the long-term peace of a stable home over the short-term satisfaction of a clever comeback. Your peace, and the peace of those you love, is worth far more than the satisfaction of being right. If you value wisdom, discipline, and self-mastery, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Until next time.